Oh my gosh, we have a toilet. It's so nice. Oh my gosh, it's so nice.
Well, hello everybody. This morning I had to come over to the house. The drywall tapers started in here last night. We'll show a little bit of what they did. Looks like they started working on the higher areas in the hallways and the regular rooms. Just getting the top of it done, a basic coat to it. I don't think it's really gonna look like anything remarkable until we hit the point where it's all done and we can start putting a coat of paint on stuff. In here, I think it seems to look a little bit better. It looks like it dried better in here than it did in the other rooms. They asked me to bring a heater in here, so I brought a heater over this morning. They'll probably run that in the afternoon before they leave. This house stays pretty stable temperature-wise, so if you get it up to 70, it'll pretty much stay at 70 overnight until we get deep into winter. The drywall hangers, when they were here, they asked me if I wanted to keep another board in here, and I said just enough for one ceiling. I've got my mechanical room. I had already drywalled the walls in there, and they didn't do the ceiling of it. They left me far more material than I need, so I think I'm gonna throw some of this away. They're supposed to come and get the dumpster today so we can get rid of that thing. I love this hallway though. I love the beam that goes across it. Lots of little things here. I know that Marvin is a master at what he does, so I'm not gonna start picking and complaining about stuff until after they've had a chance to do what they do. There's lots of gaps in here. Some of it is just the way I built the house. I gotta take the hit on that. I could probably complain to the carpenter when I get home. But this room we love. That's something we designed in there. It's a little nook above to put suitcases and stuff when people come. So it's up off the floor and not in the closets, because closet space is at a minimum. Throughout this build, we've had people say how big the house is. Oh, you built such a big house. The house is 2,500 square feet. It's not tiny, but it's not huge either. And once you get the rooms segmented off, you start having a feeling of it's not quite as big as it looked at first. The ceilings are nice and high. That gives it an open feeling. But this closet is a lot smaller than it looked when it was just framed out and didn't have any drywall. You know, the second bedroom in here is definitely small. And this closet right here is definitely cool. We're gonna have to figure out what kind of unit to put on the wall there to take the most advantage of the space that we have available. You don't have to use your imagination too much to start to get a feel for the way it's gonna look. We've had a lot of different recommendations and questions on what we're gonna do for the inside. And the inside is going to just be painted white, drywall. We like the way that that contrasts with the beams. We think with the black floors, that'll really stand out. And this is the look we've been going for the whole time. It's taken a while, but things are starting to come together. You can hear in my voice, I thought that it was the drywall eating me up, but I believe I picked up a cold last week. Since we got people here working, I put in another outlet for them today. Hooked up the refrigerator outlet. One down, about 99 to go. I'm gonna head on home, do my regular job this morning, and come back here tonight and see if I can get a little bit of work done in here. Well, good evening. I am back up on the build, and they've been in here today. They were only here for about an hour or two doing a little bit more taping. They brought the tape down another layer. They had started up higher. They also put these metal corners on some of the doors, which is pretty cool. It gives it a nice crisp look. But what I'm doing here tonight has nothing to do with the drywall. When I brought the well system into this house, the well line comes in through this wall right here in my mechanical room, and that's where it stops. It goes no further. I need to connect that line to this extraordinary masterpiece that I put together for my manifold. Little bit trepidatious about actually putting water in the lines. It holds air just fine, it'll hold water just fine, but I haven't done it yet. So I'm getting ready to connect that in. I think I've got all the parts. I've got a plan as to how I'm going to do it. And because I have the ability to shut everything off over here, I'm going to be able to shut off everything except for the one line that I want to run today. And it may take me till tomorrow to be actually able to finish all this, but what I'm trying to do is hook up a toilet. For the last 3 years, I've been going to the woods to go to the bathroom. I am tired of pooping in the woods. This beautiful throne room right here is about to get hooked up with a flush commode. That's the plan. This is the toilet. That is the clean out. I put a clean out. I know you can pull a toilet and use it as a clean out. I put a clean out in the bathroom so that if anything ever happens, because the main line is 4 inches and runs straight that way all the way out of the house, I could just open up the clean out, put a snake down it, and take care of anything. This is supposed to sink into and glue into the 4-inch pipe. I've got to cut it flat to the floor so that this sits down flush with the floor. Usually, when I'm using this tool, I've got a 5 or a 6 amp battery on here to give me plenty of power. But I put the 2 amp battery on here because the bigger batteries stick out a little bit more, and that lifts you up at an angle. And I want to be as flat as I can possibly be, and with this setup, it's pretty much flat. I am just going to go ahead and cut this so that I can slide this in here and have it as flat to the floor as is possible. Before I do that, I'm going to cut it at the top because I want to stick this in here and see if there's any kind of wiggle room whatsoever, just because this is not straight up and down. I hate to say it, but my plumbing is not perfect. One of the nice things is this is new plumbing, which means there's no sewer gas inside of this thing. And so when I crack this thing open, this time I have nothing else to contend with. It's about as clean as this gonna get. It's supposed to go down in it. I've got a tiny bit of wiggle room, but not much. So I am just gonna take this thing straight down, flat to the floor, and then slide it in with that cement on it, get it in there positioned the way that I want it, and then we'll be able to set it up. That is it. Right smack down to the floor. 2 things that I gotta do. I gotta cement this in place in exactly the position and orientation that I want it. The second one is I gotta go get my hammer drill, come back here, and I'm gonna drill 4 holes through here into the cement and sink some tap cons in there to bring this thing secured nice and tight to the floor so that when we stick that commode on it, it doesn't rock at all. We didn't start the YouTube channel until we already had this slab built. Javan and I did all the rough plumbing, and over on this side, this is farthest from where it goes out, it's about 4 feet down. It's a big flush. Let's prep it. I do prefer using the bigger cans because that larger glue ball on there. This is a little more difficult to get on a big pipe. Move this. Now, you really, ideally, when you put this in, you want to twist it a little bit, which makes sure that it's got full adherence all over it. And you don't have much time. So once you start going, you're going. Oh man, that was snug. Usually goes a little easier than that. Well, I should be able to let go of this thing at this point. That was something. I'm gonna give this a little bit of time to set up before I go doing anything with drilling holes in it. Give it about 10-15 minutes. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go work on the other side. All right, let's see if we can get this done in here. First thing I want to do is turn the water off. Turn off the pump. There we go. Well pump is, oops, aha, almost fooled myself. I just turned off the 100 amp breaker to the other side. I left that well pump on. That would not have been a good idea. Well pump is now off. I'm gonna go outside, open one of the yard hydrants, let it drain off so there's no pressure in there. I've opened up 2 of the yard lines outside. One of them is about 10 to 15 feet below the house, easily 15 feet below this. So those lines have drained well. This one is still open over here. So when I open this one and it's below this one, the water, most of the water should go that way. A little bit of it's gonna drip out. This had about probably 2.5 to 3 gallons in it, and that has probably mostly come out. And you can hear, and that was it. Like, you heard a little bit of glug glug, and I'm guessing everything just drained away. So this is the pressure tank. Pressure is down at 0 now. So what we're going to be doing is taking this out. I'm going to pull this, put in a 1-inch MNPT to 1-inch PEX. That's going to come off in about an 8-inch line. I'm going to put a elbow in it, take it over here, put another elbow in it, bring it up. I'm going to put a shut-off line on that 1-inch, and then it's going to go to a T that splits it out to the cold water supply line and the cold water supply to the heater, to the water heater. So, Opener, I believe, is the company that came up with this, Versbro Opener, that came up with the PEX A. The majority of what I have is Opener for the plumbing that goes throughout the house. However, we had a great deal of supply problem. It's gotten better, but over the last year, I've gathered together different pieces and parts that I knew I was going to need for this. And so some of these are SharkBite brand. They are PEX A. They're not the SharkBite fittings that you just stick on. These are PEX A fittings. They just happen to be SharkBite brand. Their pipe is made in Canada. Their brass fittings come out of China. Seems like it's okay so far. That is what I'm trying to do. All right. Get that out of there. See how far that was sunk in. That was not in there very far. We definitely want to get the other one in there a lot deeper than that. Goes right on there, easy as pie. All the way in. Nice. There we go. And just hold that in place. It closes up fairly quickly. Like if you were screwing around and decide you're going to stick your finger inside there and it clamped down around you, it would clamp down pretty quick, and then you'd be on your way to the hospital to get that thing off. Good luck with your finger. What we got here? Everybody and their brother wants to say hi at the most inopportune dang time. All the way down. Now, That's even worse. Come on now. Much better. Well, I had planned to finish this, but my phone's been blowing up. Work is calling. That's how I make my money. So I'm gonna cap this line real quick so that I don't have any kind of a situation if someone were to inadvertently kick my pump back on. And I'm gonna go back home and go to work. All right, and that is a cap. All right. Well, something that we don't usually do, but probably should do more of, is rent equipment instead of buying it. We're gonna do some cement work this weekend because the equipment that we need to do, the siding, is not available yet. We're gonna put in the pads for the mini splits so we can get that ready and get those in as soon as we have the inside of the house all mudded up and dried. I'm just waiting for the guy to come out here and take photos of the equipment before I take it away so they know what condition it is when they rent it to me and how bad I beat it up when I take it out of here. I'm turning it around just because of the way the weight. All right, sir, you have a good time. Thanks. Perfect. Now that's a nice small one. That's going to be for the pads we're going to do for the mini splits. Next weekend, I think we might be getting one of those. Maybe we'll tackle the cement pad for the propane. I have always just stuck them onto the thing there and stuck the seat down on it. But it says to press it in place, and I don't know how that's supposed to work, but I'm gonna try.
Jafana and I just celebrated our 8th wedding anniversary. And in that time, we have shared 4 different bathrooms and renovated one of them. As you might imagine, while building this house, the house that we plan to live out the rest of our lives in, she has expressed some strong opinions on the fixtures that she wants to have here. When it came to a toilet, she knew exactly what type she wanted, and she told me. It seemed expensive and troublesome to install, so like any other couple who's building a house, I expressed my concern, and she acknowledged that I was right and we chose a different toilet. Of course, I'm kidding, and that isn't what really happened. We argued for a while. I dug my heels in and said no, and then I went to the hardware store and I bought the one that she wanted anyway. Because quite frankly, I'm not the one who does the bulk of the cleaning. And if there's something about the design of a commode that makes it easier to clean without sacrificing expected performance and without spending too much more money than makes sense, it seemed like a reasonable thing to do. And just to make myself feel better about spending more than double the entry rate for Thomas Crapper's most memorable achievement, I wanted to know how much the most expensive one was. I was astounded to discover that you can go to a national chain big box store and spend more than $9,000 on a toilet. It has light up buttons to flush, and it'll even wash your backside for you.
Well, it's been a long time since I've had to stop and read the instructions for the installation of a toilet seat, but that one was a little more complicated. I've got everything connected, all the water lines. I've got everything hooked up from the well all the way into the house now. I got a handle that goes to pretty much every apparatus in here, and they're all turned off. The only thing left to do is turn the well pump back on and find out if this 1-inch PEX that I put in with 3/4 inch that's above it holds, or if it blows apart. I just want to get the air out of this if there's any air in here. No, that's water. Open this one up, water goes up, around, and hits the system. I can hear it. Nothing catastrophic yet. I believe that line comes from right over there, comes right into here. My assistant did not mark these as she removed the little taped labels. In fairness, the pencil had faded at that point and it was difficult to see. Well, it seems like there's some water in that line now. The only other question remaining is what happens when I go in here on the other side, turn on the toilet. Got a piece of cardboard in here. A little bit of air purging. Ooh, it's a silly thing to be excited about, but you have to understand, we've been working on this house for years, and I've been going to the bathroom in the woods. Getting tired of digging holes. Does it flush? Little flush. Big flush. About as good as it gets. Well, I don't want to go overboard, but that is a moment of pride for me. We have a flush toilet in the house. We don't have a door in the bathroom. All good things in time. There's a flush toilet to use. And we have people in here finishing up the drywall. They can use the toilet instead of having to go into the woods. They're gonna be here. It's gonna take a week or so for them to get everything done. This is a rather extensive house with high ceilings. There's a lot that they're gonna be doing in here. Well, that is all I've got time for today. I appreciate you guys watching. Come on back and check us out again. We'll be here. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, what are you waiting for?
So what'd you do? All right. Oh my gosh, we have a toilet. So the water's not on?
No, it'll flush, but it won't refill yet because I didn't turn the water on.
It's so nice. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. Here, I am gonna flush it. That's really nice. You bought the nice model.
Well, nothing blew up.
Such a nice toilet. Yeah, I really like that you can clean it easy. So isn't there like a little plug for that?
Right over here. I didn't stick them in yet.
That's okay. Oh, that's nice.
It does sit off the wall a little bit.
Oh, I like that though. I do. So what is this little tab over here? Is that always going to be there?
I'm going to cut it off flush, but that's what makes it not rock.
That's nice. Oh my gosh. We have a toilet. How many years has it been?
It's been a few.
Oh my God.
It's been a few.
Thanks again for watching. We know there's a lot of things you could choose to do with your time, and we really appreciate that you spend a little bit of it following along on our journey. We'll see you guys next time at BreakHeartOrchard.